So now we are going to study about job analysis in more details. So there are certain types of jobs which have different schedules or locations. We are all familiar with jobs like this. So when we are doing job analysis of these jobs, we need to keep this in our mind because the job analysis document is very essential. It is a very important document and it must capture all the important aspects of the job. So the job analysis of jobs like which are global, for example, should capture the issue like it is a global job and it requires flexible working hours. So if the job involves coordinating with people from different countries, then this should be also recorded in the job analysis. So the job schedule is also important when the job is done. How many days in the week the job is done and how many hours. These things are also recorded. Then we have shift works and compressed work week. These are also characteristics of certain jobs. So we have jobs which require shifting work, like say call center agents. So they work 24 hours and there are people who are working 8 hours a shift, and this shift will vary depending on the time. Also we have flexible working hour. This is another characteristics of the job. So certain jobs have the option to have flexible hours, like instead of starting the work day at 10 o'clock, a person can start the work day at say 8 o'clock and finish 2 hours earlier. Or the person can start the work say 2 hours later and finish the work 2 hours later. So the organizations use job sharing, which means two employees are doing the job of one full-time person. So this is another way of getting the job done in the organization. So you have an example over here for say in an hospital, the two radiologists, technicians can do the job of one person. Then we have telework, which is quite common also now in our country. So people do not travel from one place to another place, but rather using communication, they do the job from their home or from their current office. So this is another way of doing the job. This shows statistics of the increase in the telecommuting. So the jobs in USA has increased significantly in terms of telecommuting. Also in our country we can see the same phenomenon. So what sort of issues do the employer face with telework? Certain things need to be addressed in a different way, definitely, because this is different from the regular work procedure. So in the telework, the logistical support is important, and good communication is also essential, because if the communication is not proper, then there will be difficulty in getting the job done. Moreover, the employer needs to have good control over the employees or their work. So proper rules need to be followed by the employees, and the policies are essential over here. So the policies can give information on things like how the employers will monitor the work of teleworkers, then how the company equipment will be used, expenses will be handled. All these things can be considered in the policy. So now comes job analysis. What do we understand by job analysis? So it is the systematic way of gathering and analyzing information about the content, context and human requirements of jobs. So if we look at this definition, it tells us that this is a process which is done to collect information about the content, that means what the person is supposed to do, the context, which means the circumstances or the place where the person is supposed to do the work, and the human requirements, that means what type of skills, knowledge and experience the employee should have. So that is known as job analysis. So job analysis is conducted using various methods. We will look at some of those methods over here. So in this diagram we can see the job analysis techniques. So broadly speaking about job analysis, we have 4 techniques. These are questionnaire, interview, observation and logs or diaries. And the sources of data are usually the employees and the supervisors and the managers and the job analyst as well. And who conducts the job analysis? It's conducted and the job analysis is conducted by the consultants, the job analysts and the supervisors. So they are the people who are doing the job analysis. So it is used to develop the job description and the job specification, and the job analysis results are used for things like the HR planning, recruitment, selection, compensation, training, all these areas. So we will look into these things in brief, that how the job analysis results are used for these things. So the job analysis can be done in 2 ways broadly. One is called the task-based, the other one is known as the competency-based. So the task-based will mean that what are the tasks that are supposed to be done by an employee for a specific job. That means the duties, responsibilities, these things. So you have the definition of tasks over here. Task means anything, any work activity composed of motion. So it's the very basic thing that a person needs to do in the workplace. For example, say a call center agent needs to receive phone calls and record the complaints of the customers or answer the queries of the customers. So these are the things that the employees in a call center needs to do. And the other approach that we have for job analysis is called competency based. So firstly, what is competency? Competency means the knowledge, skills and attitude. In short, we also call it KSA, that is required for doing a job. So that is called competency. So when we are identifying the competencies that are required for a person to do a job, then that is known as the competency-based job analysis approach. So competencies that are required for doing any job can be classified into various categories. These are technical competencies, behavioral competencies. Sometimes we have managerial competencies, core competency. All these are various types of competencies. So some of the examples of behavioral competencies are listed over here: customer focus, team orientation, technical expertise. These are all examples of behavioral competencies. So when organizations want to do the job analysis, they need to take certain decisions. One thing they need to decide is the type of job analysis approach that they will do. So depends on the type of jobs that are being analyzed, and also the people who are going to analyze the job and other resources that are available. So based on all these factors, the job analysis approach is decided. Next we have job analysis responsibility, that means who is going to conduct the job analysis. So the job analysis responsibility mainly lies with two stakeholders. One is the HR unit and the other one is the manager. So the HR unit does these functions in the job analysis process. So the coordination of the whole process is done by the HR unit. Then after the job analysis is completed, then writing the job description and specifications for review by the managers. Also these documents need to be reviewed periodically, and also reviewing the manager's input to ensure accuracy, maintaining assistance from outside experts. And the managers, they collect the information, they do the job analysis, they need to review the job description and specification, because the job analysis is done on the jobs which are under the managers, and they know best about the jobs. Then they might request for new job analysis to be done when any job changes. The changes might be done because of organizational restructuring. They also use job analysis information for measuring the performances of the employees, basically setting the performance standard, and they provide information to experts as well during the job analysis. So this is about the responsibility of the job analysis. Next we will be talking about the job analysis process. So the job analysis process consists of few steps. We have the steps listed over here. So first of all, we need to do the planning for the job analysis. That means why we are going to do the job analysis, how we are going to do the job analysis, what is the process, and who are the stakeholders who will be related with the job analysis process. Then we need to prepare the instruments and documents that will be used for the job analysis process. So we also review the existing job descriptions, then organizational chart and other information related to the jobs in the organization. Then we start the job analysis process. That means we start gathering information. So this process is done either using questionnaire or using interviews. So we will be talking about this step in more details a bit later. And then after that, once we have collected the information, then we develop the job descriptions and the job specifications. We write them down based on the information that we have gathered. And after we have written down the job descriptions and the specifications, then we update with the old information, or we also need to get the information validated by the managers and the supervisors. So this is how we do the job analysis. So we have the steps listed over here. In brief, we can say that planning the job analysis involves identifying the reason and getting the support from the top management, starting the process. Then preparing means identifying the jobs, how we are going to collect the information, deciding about that, reviewing the documents, existing ones, and also communicate the process with the managers and the employees. Then we start the process, so we gather information and we review and compile the data. Then we draft the job description and the job specification. And lastly, we update the job description and the specifications as per the organizational changes that take place from time to time. We also review the job descriptions and the specifications, and we also get it validated by the concerned stakeholders, by the employers, managers, and others. So that's it in this section.